Hi everyone and welcome on board the Grand Celebrity Reflection. In this video we are going to guide you around the Celebrity Reflection as it departs from Port Everglades in Florida and sails around the beautiful Caribbean. I'm Lou.
And I'm John of Independent Travel Reviews. Now this ship is 14 years old and some reports say that people feel that as a result it looks and feels a little bit dated. Is that true? Well, hang around to find out. In this video, you'll see some of the staterooms, get an overview of the free restaurants, including the main dining room menus, as well as those for which there's an additional fee. We'll guide you around the ship and tell you about the bars and drinks prices.
Now, if you're keen to know about fitness and entertainment, then you're in the right place. We tell you what we really think. This is a mature and elegant ship, and there are lots of hidden areas of calm aboard Celebrity Reflection, and we'll share those with you. You'll find out how much 6 nights on board cost us, and we offer some gems of advice, including how we secured an upgrade from an ocean view to a balcony stateroom.
We'll cover things such as the check-in and boarding process and the Celebrity app. And finally, we'll give an honest summary of our time on board, what the service is like, and where we think it falls down.
Right, well, we're going to take you on a tour of the ship now, and we've split it up into 3 manageable sections.
Now the first section is the section that we're in now, which is decks 3, 4 and 5, and that's where the majority, but not all, of the entertainment takes place. It's where the shops are, it's where the theatre is, and it's where areas like Cafe El Bacio are.
And lots of bars. Celebrity Reflection has 2 elevator shafts here and here, featuring attractive glass fronted elevators to the rear which offer nice views over the interior of the ship, artwork and greenery. One of the things that struck us is that the ship has a nice flow to it and was designed at a time when the ship architects still valued passenger comfort and space, as opposed to some more modern ships which appear to us to be built around revenue maximisation.
Let's start on deck 3, the front portion being allocated to staterooms and the lower level of the theatre. In the middle you'll find the grand foyer which, as well as being home to guest relations, shore excursions and the passport bar, will most likely attract you as the venue for the silent discos and parties which the cruise director and staff host here in the evenings. It's a lovely venue, very informal with nice glass stairs and views down from decks 4 and 5. The other side of the rear elevator area lies the entrance to the lower level of the main Opus dining room, where most guests with fixed time dining will be seated.
Moving up to deck 4, starting at the front of the ship, is the lower level access to the theatre. We'll talk about entertainment in the next section, but the theatre is a traditional shape and holds just over 1,100 guests. Reservations are not required, and we had no problem finding seats for any of the shows on our cruise. Both upper and lower level seats offer good views with little to obstruct them. Moving back, you'll come to the entertainment court, where quizzes are held and a door on the starboard side takes you into Celebrity Central, a cinema-style venue where movies were aired during our cruise, as well as comedy shows and other presentations. There's a bar here, and then on the port side are the boulevard shops on deck 4, whilst the starboard side houses a casino, which permits smoking and also is home to the Fortunes Casino Bar. Either side of the atrium view and rear elevators are the Martini Bar and Cellar Masters Wine Bar, which then lead on to the upper level of the main Opus dining room with a reservations desk at the entrance on the starboard side.
At the front of deck 5 is the entrance to the upper level of the theatre, and then, on the other side of the front elevators and stairs, lie the photo and art galleries, plus the boutique higher-end shops. There's the world-class bar here where we filmed the intro into this section, and then you transition into the atrium, either side of which are Sushi on 5, a speciality venue, and on the starboard side is the very popular Cafe El Bacio and Gelateria. We'll cover all of these in the dining section. There are doors here to lovely outside seating and deck areas. The other side of the rear elevator lobby takes you through the Ensemble Lounge, a slightly dark and underutilised bar area, to Murano, Tuscan Grill and Cuisine specialty venues, as well as Blue Restaurant for Aqua Class guests and Michael's Club for suite guests. Even if you don't plan to eat at any of these, it's worth a visit just to see this rather quirky seating area outside Cuisine and Blue Restaurants.
Decks 6 to 11 are mostly staterooms, but near the rear elevators on each level are some real gems which helped us fall in love with this ship and make it stand out. On Deck 6 is the iLounge computer area, and then above on Decks 7 and 8 are the Hideaway, a really funky 2-level peaceful area, great for reading, doing puzzles and crosswords, and drinking the supplied free tea and coffee. There's a games room on Deck 9, and then on Decks 10 and 11 lies the 2-level library, a real treat and quite a rarity on modern cruise ships. Deck 12 hosts the Captain's Club around the rear elevators, but at the front is the gym and spa area, plus an outside deck ahead of the gym which can be a real bonus spot to observe life both at sea and in port, provided it's not too windy.
Decks 14, 15 and 16 are the key outside areas, as well as the Ocean View Cafe. On 14 at the front is the Sky Observation Lounge, a large, lively evening bar venue which hosts live music and karaoke. Located the other side of the front elevators is the Solarium, an adult-only pool and spa area, which includes the lovely Spa Cafe. This area can get busy on sea days, but is not noisy and still feels peaceful. Moving further back takes you to the centre of the ship and the 2 swimming pools, pool bar and 4 hot tubs.
Okay, now there are 3 pools on Celebrity Reflection. There's 2 outdoor ones and there's 1 indoor one in the Solarium. Now they do get really busy on sea days, however there are still plenty of areas of calm where you can find a nice place to relax in the sun if you want to. Today is a port day, we're in Cozumel, so as you can see the pool area is quite a lot quieter.
At the rear is the large, well-proportioned Ocean View Cafe, the ship's buffet restaurant. We'll cover food after entertainment, but this area also includes a second Cafe El Bacio, as well as a free ice cream counter and the really impressive rear open dining terrace overlooking the back of Celebrity Reflection.
Up to Deck 15 now, and starting at the front again you'll find all of the kids' facilities including the basketball court and arcade. There are some sunbeds here, but they do tend to be a bit noisy due to the proximity to the basketball court. As you move back, you come to the Mast Grill and Mast Bar, and then plenty of sunbeds overlooking the pool area and surrounding a fairly small jogging track. You then transition into one of the Solstice Class Ships' defining features, the lawn area. Here you'll find the Specialty Porch Cafe and Lawn Club Grill, plus the movie screen where movies are shown as well as sports events. You can rent cabanas here for a considerable fee, or just elect to chill out or play balls on the unique grass area. Anyone for a game of pool? Finally, at the very back is the highly popular Sunset Bar, overlooking the back of the ship with stairs down to the Ocean View Cafe's open terrace.
The highest deck is 16, the small Solstice deck at the front, which is primarily for chilling and sunbathing. It's a lovely location with groovy lounges that get filled up quickly if the weather is good. The only downsides here are the proximity to the basketball court and the wind, which can make it noisy.
All in all, we loved the layout of Reflection. It feels open and classy, and the lawn areas on Deck 15 added to quiet areas such as the Hideaway give it something additional that is difficult to find on other ships. We've seen reports that it feels dated, but that wasn't our experience at all. It was such a beautiful ship in the first place that it has stood the test of time. The only area which we felt didn't work was the Ensemble Lounge, which simply felt a little too dark, unoccupied, and thus wasted, certainly on us.
Let's move on to entertainment now and start in the theatre. On our 6-night cruise, in the theatre we saw a comedian, 3 production shows and 2 female singers. Things started, quite frankly, pretty badly, with a poor performance from a distinctly average comedian. But they improved dramatically with the first production show, where Celebrity once again demonstrated that it would appear to us that they select and employ dancers and vocalists who are above average for the cruise industry.
All 3 production shows were excellent, high energy and entertaining spectacles that put the offering on Wonder of the Seas well in the shade. Whilst the 2 female vocalists were different and enjoyable in their own right, we'd have preferred to have seen something else on one of the nights. But overall, we felt much more engaged and satisfied with Celebrity Reflections theatre offering than on Wonder of the Seas a few days previously, and at least on a par with that on Sun Princess.
One of Celebrity's strong points, in our view, is its ability to create entertainment which gets guests engaged and participating. Their renowned silent discos are perhaps the best example, but other events in the Grand Foyer backed this up, as well as the Sky Observation Lounge, a very popular venue in the evenings.
We are great believers that the quality of entertainment on cruise ships is driven by the energy and personality of the cruise director, and Reflections' Nathan is a shining example of that. He and his team were enthusiastic and talented, along with the musicians who performed around the pool, in the Ensemble Lounge and of course the theatre. The activities team create an entertainment offering that, in our view, suits the passengers who cruise with Celebrity.
It's perhaps a little more mature than that on Princess, for example, but for many that's a good reason to choose Celebrity.
So let's move on now to everyone's favourite topic on a cruise ship, which is of course
Food.
food. Yes, it is.
So we're going to split this into 2 sections. The first section we're going to talk about food which is included in your cruise fare, and then we'll move on to items for which there is an additional fee.
So you'll find us now in the main dining room, which is called Opus. Opus is situated at the back of the ship on decks 3 and 4.
The lower deck, deck 3, is for fixed time dining. So the fixed time dining, the first sitting is between 5:45 and 6:15, and then the second sitting is between 8:30 and 9. And then deck 4, which is the deck we're on now, is the anytime dining deck, where you can make a reservation anytime between 5:15 and 9 p.m. Now in theory you can make your reservations via the app, but we didn't actually manage to make that work.
But we had to do it once we got on the boat.
And we did it by coming to the desk here to see the maitre d', who were extremely accommodating. What we did find is that if you wanted to book in advance, if you were looking for a booking between about 6:30 and 8, you typically were going to struggle, but you do have the option of just turning up and they will find you a table. They say there might be a bit of a queue, but actually there weren't any queues when we were here, and if they haven't got a table for you, then they will give you a pager and then page you when one's available.
And as John said, we booked for 8, which is a little bit late for my liking, but most evenings we arrived at 7:30 and were allowed to go straight through and sit down.
The main dining room experience met or exceeded all of our expectations.
The service was polished, friendly and efficient. Food was served quickly, usually piping hot, and the waiters made time to explain the choices and any specials.
It was of a very high standard, in our opinion, and typically the presentation was top-notch. How it compares to other cruise lines is a personal judgment, demonstrated by the fact that I rated it slightly higher than Royal Caribbean,
whereas I have a slight preference for Wonder of the Seas' main dining offering. We both rated the experience significantly higher than that on Sun Princess.
An area where Celebrity Reflection excelled was in the buffet dining option, the Ocean View Cafe.
It's well laid out and offers an amazing variety of fresh, hot and cold options from around the world.
We've yet to experience a cruise ship buffet which does not get busy at peak breakfast and lunch times, but the layout of the serving areas and the seating meant that it was bearable, although avoiding the peak times is always our recommendation.
Our other tip here is to take your food to the back. Weather permitting, consider eating on the lovely open terrace. Dinner in the Ocean View was a more sedate affair, and even if you don't plan to eat there in the evening, it's worth a visit one night to see how beautifully laid out the evening dinner option is.
The Ocean View stays open well into the night, serving freshly made pizza and pasta dishes.
We loved the free drink station, an example of where space on slightly older ships was afforded to enhance guests' included drinks experience. Quite a contrast to the newly built Sun Princess, where the free drinks options were severely limited. I particularly like the free ice cream counter near the entrance to the Ocean View Cafe.
In terms of other free food, you can elect to eat burger and hot dog type cuisine at the Mars Grill during the day, healthy breakfast and lunch at the Spa Cafe in the Solarium, or yummy cakes and buns for free at the main Cafe Al Baccio, although remember that you do have to pay for tea and coffee both here and at the second Al Baccio in the Ocean View.
So on reflection, there are 6 specialty restaurants for which you have to pay an additional fee. You'll find 3 of them at the back of Deck 5.
And then the other 3, one is located in the centre of the ship on Deck 5, that's Sushi, and then the other 2 are located right at the top of the ship on Deck 14, that's the Porch and the Lawn Club Grill.
Now, we didn't eat in any of the specialty restaurants on this trip, but it is worth mentioning that nearly every day we were asked about our dinner plans, and we were offered up to half price at the specialty restaurants in the evening. So, if you are undecided about whether to eat in a specialty venue, one option might be to wait until you board and then see if any special offer materialises during your cruise. We booked a guarantee outside stateroom, which means you have a porthole, not a balcony, and the guarantee bit means you can be allocated a cabin anywhere on the boat.
Yeah, now normally we would book an inside stateroom, but on this occasion, for some reason, a cabin with a porthole was a little bit cheaper, wasn't it? But you got an email about 2 months before we sailed, offering you the opportunity to bid for an upgrade, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. And I had a look at it, and for £115 minimum, you could bid for a balcony. Now, you could bid higher than that, but I took my chance and bid £115, which
that's
is
about 145 bucks, isn't it?
So I put in the bid and left it like that, and literally 10 days before we were coming on the cruise, I received another email to say, congratulations, you've won your bid, and we have now got this balcony cabin.
Yeah, so we've been allocated a balcony cabin. It's a standard balcony cabin, but it's really lovely. It's on Deck 8 towards the back of the ship, and we're really pleased, aren't we?
Love having a balcony. So the cabin itself is very roomy with ample storage, unlike Wonder of the Seas, and the bathroom is also great. It's got a couple of drawers in there, a nice hair dryer, and it also has good shampoo, conditioner, body wash and body lotion.
Yeah, now it is worth noting that the balconies on this ship are just standard balconies, unlike the infinite balconies which we showed on the Edge class ships last year. Now there's a couple of things to note. Being an older ship, the little things like the TV is a little bit smaller. There are no dedicated USB charging points. However, there are US and European plugs, but no British socket, so you'd need to bring an adapter if you're from the UK.
And there are no plugs either side of the bed.
On Celebrity, unlike Royal Caribbean, you do get 2 visits per day from your stateroom attendant. The first one to clean and the second one is just to tidy. But you got an email, didn't you, just before departure, asking us to opt in to a kind of a green program?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. It basically was a go green, where your second clean is a lot more reduced to save energy and the environment. However, you do still get the very, very essential pillow chocolate.
But no towel animals so far.
No, but that's fine. I'll have the chocolate.
So whilst we were delighted with our upgrade to a balcony cabin, we did have a quick peek at an inside stateroom, and they actually look pretty well proportioned, rather like the ones on Celebrity Edge, didn't they?
Yeah, they're good size. We counted 12 bars on Celebrity Reflection plus 2 coffee venues. Each bar has a different vibe, ranging from casual poolside bars, the iconic Sunset Bar, through the Martini Bar to the elegant and sophisticated Ensemble Lounge, Cellar Masters Wine Bar and Retreat exclusive to suite guests.
Alcoholic drink prices are pretty standard for the industry, with a selection of prices for common drinks on the screen now. Bear in mind that all are subject to a mandatory 20% gratuity charge. That's higher than is charged on Princess and Royal Caribbean, for example.
Where we think Celebrity becomes expensive is if you are considering one of the two types of alcoholic drinks packages, classic or premium. We are not going to wade into the debate about whether drinks packages represent good value in this video. However, at $107 and $131 per day respectively, including gratuities for the classic and premium packages, that's a total of $1,500 or $1,800 for a 7-night cruise for 2 adults in a stateroom. It strikes us that it's worth doing 2 things.
Now, one is being sure that a package is right for you, especially when you bear in mind the restrictions which accompany the classic package. The second is to carefully monitor the available discounts on your Celebrity booking. We've regularly seen reports of 30% discounts and less frequently up to 50% off.
In our view, the overall offering on Princess is inferior to that on Celebrity, but one key area where Princess shines is for those who regularly purchase a drinks package, Wi-Fi, and dine in specialty venues. At $90 per day, including gratuities, the Princess Premier package, which bundles all of those benefits and more, looks like a relative bargain.
Celebrity does offer a non-alcoholic drinks package for around $55 per day, including gratuities, but they don't match Royal Caribbean's soda-only package, which can be bought for well under $10 a day. It's well worth noting as well that you are permitted to bring aboard, on embarkation day only, 1 bottle of wine or champagne, not spirits or beers, per adult of drinking age for the cruise in question.
We think the best way to do this is in your hand luggage. If you put it in your suitcase, then it's likely to be picked up in screening and that you'll be asked to verify the contents before the case is brought to your stateroom. Any alcohol brought on board this way is designed to be drunk in your stateroom.
The gym on Celebrity Reflection is as well equipped as any we've seen, including a number of state-of-the-art Peloton bikes and a decent-sized free weights area. Even on sea day mornings there was spare capacity, normally a no-go time for us. There were HIIT, spin and yoga classes most days for $20 each, and we really appreciated that the spin room was available for general use when not occupied by a spin class.
We already mentioned the lovely deck area at the front of the gym, perfect for post-workout stretch and relaxation. There was the usual selection of massages and beauty treatments on offer, and a nice looking spa with heated beds, saunas and steam rooms priced at $99 per day or $239 for a 6-day pass, nearly double the prices charged on Sun Princess, which had a superior spa area that included a thermal pool.
Wi-Fi prices appear to vary considerably and depend on your sailing, what discounts are offered, how many devices, and the daily rate depends upon whether you buy for the whole cruise or just the odd day. Expect to pay at least $30 per day for the premium Wi-Fi package on its own, although some cruise fares do bundle gratuities, Wi-Fi and the classic drink package together. We tend to use eSIMs import rather than Wi-Fi, so we can't comment on the quality of the service.
The Celebrity app works well, is generally up to date with the ship's activities and is free to use, requiring a connection to the free element of the ship's Wi-Fi. They do also provide a daily paper version of Celebrity Today, unlike Royal Caribbean, which steer you solely to the app for information. There is a messaging function on the app which allows you to message fellow guests if you want to, provided both are connected to the ship's free Wi-Fi. But, unlike Royal Caribbean and Princess, you can't contact guest services via the app, which seems a bit of a shame.
Okay, so what did we think of Celebrity and Reflection in particular? Well, as you might have guessed from the title of this video, we think that Celebrity has created a generally very successful recipe with its brand, and more specifically on Solstice Class ships.
They've been really well maintained and only show their age on odd occasions, such as when you are looking for USB charging ports in your stateroom. The free dining offering was of a very high standard, and all service on the ship was exceptionally efficient and provided by a friendly crew who clearly know what they are doing.
Celebrity does offer kids facilities, and from our experience many years ago, they do a good job. but our cruise took place during school term time, so there were very few youngsters on board. The ship appeared to us to be broadly aimed at adults in the 40-plus age category who appreciate being entertained by quality acts and not being afraid to join in, whether to a yoga class by the pool, one of the numerous parties and silent discos which Celebrity are so very good at.
Embarkation and disembarkation were both efficient and easy processes, made additionally so by the provision of pre-departure information online and the use by US immigration of facial recognition at Port Everglades, which makes arriving back into Florida so easy.
Now, when you consider that we paid $1,400 in total for 2 adults in a balcony stateroom for a 6-night cruise of this quality, we think that Celebrity hits a sweet spot, and based on our experience, we'd be more than happy to sail a Solstice Class ship many times in the future.
There are a couple of caveats. You need to be able to cope without flow riders, rock climbing walls, aqua theatres, magic carpets, and flashy piazzas. You also need to bear in mind that if you insist on having a drinks package, Wi-Fi, or multiple visits to specialty restaurants, then you will end up paying more than you would for the equivalent on Princess, for example.
However, all in all, we think that Celebrity Reflection and her 4 sister ships are elegant, spacious and classy, and make a great choice for a mature but not elderly cruise vacation.
One of our next cruise videos will be about an upcoming cruise on MSC World Europa, which we expect to be a very different experience. So why not subscribe so you can be alerted when that is released? Thanks for watching, and goodbye.